Okay, I'm very grateful that everyone is here with me today in today's Ibasho Circle session. So you can be anywhere else today, but you chose to be here. So thank you so much for showing up. I'm really grateful for your presence with me today. Good morning, everyone. So today's topic is on self-compassion, how to befriend your anxiety. Okay, so at any point of time, if you cannot hear me, please feel free to let me know. Or if I'm breaking up, please let me know also. Okay, everyone is able to see the screen, right? So let us begin with a gentle reminder. So what is shared within this circle remains in this circle, okay? We will keep things confidential within this circle, and let us have the courage to be vulnerable. I thank you for showing up today and be non-judgmental. Okay, we try not to label things bad or good. Just allow ourselves to be. And finally, the most important presence. So I invite you to just gently check in with your mind and your body. Have you fully arrived here in this time and space? I invite you to just let go of your to-do list. There's nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Okay, I invite you to give yourself permission to just be in this time and space together, to let us show up courageously and be present in this 1 hour session today. Okay, let us take 3 deep inhale and slow exhale to ground our minds back home to our body, to be fully present in this time and space. Let me begin with introduction. I'm very honored to have Sheila here with me today. She's our guest speaker who will take us through this topic on self-compassion and befriending our anxiety. Okay, Sheila is the founder of Safe with Sheila. She's a psychotherapist and certified clinical trauma specialist. She's also a registered counselor, and her work mainly focuses on helping individuals heal from trauma and addiction. So a very big welcome to Sheila, who will take us through the rest of the slides.
Thank you, Joy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Sheila. Really appreciate you spending your Sunday morning with us. Um, so my thoughts about this workshop and my hope for it is that we can learn to befriend our anxiety, and also give all of you a practical handle on how to communicate with your anxiety with compassion, to also hold space for yourself and your anxiety through meditative practices. So hopefully some of the things that we run through today will be practical for you, and you can take them with you to help you in your daily lives. I'm also curious to hear from everyone about maybe what your intention is for this session. And let's see, how many people do we have? We have 10 of us in total. So maybe if everyone is comfortable, we could take a moment to just, go one round, and everyone can share what is their intention for this session, right? Maybe I can go first and then Joy, and then we'll open up to the rest of us. Yeah. So my intention this morning is to be present with all of you, and to make space for the challenging parts of myself. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheila. My intention today is to show up, to be vulnerable, and to be fully here today in this time and space. Over to you, Sister Ting. So once we finish saying our intention, we can pass over to someone that you have in mind in this space. Okay.
Hello everyone, I am Ting. So thank you for inviting me, Joy. I'm glad to be here with everyone and also Sheila. My intention today is simply just to check in with myself because this topic is something that's also quite close to my heart. So I just want to learn and explore with everyone who's showing up in this space. So I will tag the next person I see on the screen. Maybe uh, Junong. Is it Junong? Yeah, if I
Yes.
mispronounce. Yes, okay, wonderful.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Chin Long. So, my intention today is also to be present and to learn some ways to cope with my anxiety. Okay, maybe I will take the next person as well. Maybe Tammy.
Good morning. I'm pretty open, so just here to spend my Sunday morning experiencing what's to come. Yeah, so maybe Kelly.
Okay, hi, I'm Kelly. So, my purpose today is just to learn more about myself through this. Okay, maybe Jeremiah.
Right. Thanks, Kelly. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Yeah. So hello everybody. My name is Jeremiah, and my purpose today is to just do a quick check-in with myself and see where I am at with my own anxiety. And I call on Kelvin.
Okay, hi, Kelvin here. So my intention today is basically to be present at the same time to be able to have like more tools for emotional regulation. Yeah, so that when things happen, like at least there's some tools that to help instead of like when bad things happen. Yeah, something along the line. Yeah. Okay. Then the next person I would call Clara then.
Hi, sorry, I can't turn on my video. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm actually in the correct space of mind because I'm actually running a few errands. But I would just love to listen in and learn more. And hopefully, as I heard you're recording this, perhaps I can rewatch it when I'm in a more settled state to I think be really present with myself. Unfortunately, today is just not a great timing. But thank you so much for holding this session. Really appreciate it.
I think we're left with Vishal.
Yeah, hi. It's my first time, so I'm just here to listen in and learn more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that's everybody, right, Joy?
Yes, that's all. Thank you
Yeah.
to everyone for
Okay.
sharing. Oh, we have one new joiner. Hi, welcome Farid. Welcome to the session. Okay, Farid is connecting. Let us give him a few minutes.
Sure thing.
Hi, good morning, Farid. Welcome to the session. We are just starting and sharing with each other our intention of attending this session today. So whenever you are ready, you may turn on the video and start sharing. Whenever you're ready, just take your time to settle in. Okay, I think Farid is still settling in. Let us give him some time. Maybe we can continue the session so that we won't uh, take up the time of the other participants. Okay, thank you
Sure.
everyone for sharing.
Yeah, thank you everyone for participating. It was really nice to get to hear from all of you directly. So the way I'm gonna run this workshop, or the modality I'm using to help us examine and explore anxiety, is a modality called internal family system. It's an approach for therapy that I really like because it doesn't pathologize anyone or any part of ourselves. The belief really is that there is the true self, and then the rest is like different parts of us. I will explain more about what is the self and what are parts later on as we go through this session. Now, what I love about this so much is that it embraces and accepts all the different parts of ourselves. There's no such thing as a bad part. There's no such thing as a part we need to fight against or get rid of. And we're going to begin by using a very beloved meditation from the internal family systems law or legend, as you may call it. There are lots of meditations that we use for this approach, but the path meditation is one that as practitioners we really love. It's a nice opener as well. I want to get you to just settle into your seats, relax into your chair, maybe take a couple of deep breaths and center yourself, and I will lead you down this path meditation. And remember, at any point you have choice. You can choose to stop the meditation. You can choose to stop the exercise. You can even take a break and take a walk. You have choice at every point in this. Do it for as long as it feels comfortable. I invite you to take a deep breath as we prepare for the path meditation. In your mind, put yourself at the base of a path. It could be a path that you've been on before. It could also be one that is completely new to you. And just stay at the base of this path for some time. Before you go anywhere or do anything, notice if there are any parts of you that are coming up. Meet with them and ask how they feel about letting you go down this path by yourself. Do these parts have any fears or any doubt, any concern? You can assure them that you won't be gone for too long, and let them know that this path exploration will be good for you and good for them. If there are some parts who are feeling afraid still, notice if there are other parts of yourself that are able to care for the ones that are afraid. Maybe these parts of yourself can comfort and care for the ones that are concerned or afraid. Take some time to organize. And even with all this, you may find that some of your parts don't want you to go on the path, and that is perfectly fine. If that is the case, you can spend the rest of the time just getting to know your path and their fears at the base of this path. If they don't want you to go, we will respect that. But if your parts are ready, if they are okay to wait there for you, go on ahead and slowly start walking on this path at whatever pace feels good and right for you. And as you go, I'll ask you to notice a few things. The first thing I'll ask you to notice is whether you are on the path. Are you watching yourself on the path? Or are you watching what is in front of you? If you are watching yourself walk down the path, it means a part is trying to do it for you. Gently ask this part if it would be willing to return to the base and let you actually walk alone on the path. If you don't see yourself and you only see your surrounding, just keep going and notice. Are you thinking about anything? If you are thinking or worrying or ruminating about something, that is most likely also a part. Notice that part and gently ask if it would be willing to return to the base and wait for you. You gradually find yourself gaining more and more of a pure experience or pure awareness. Continue down this path and just check again. Are you watching yourself or noticing your surroundings? If at any point you're lifting up off the path, flying or soaring, don't be alarmed. That is okay. You can go with that. Notice your body as you go. You may find a warm or vibrating energy running through your body. And see how you can hold this energy as you continue. At any point, if you're comfortable, you can also ask if this warm, vibrating energy has any guidance for you. And just spend some time there. And when the time feels right, I'm going to invite you to return back to the base at whatever pace feels right for you. There is no rush. And when you get back to the base, notice the path, meet with them for a little while, and just check in on how this was for them. And see how they feel if you continue to hold this warm and vibrating energy while you're here with them. If there is anything your parts want to know about the journey, feel free to tell them and answer their questions. And when all of this feels good and complete, thank your parts for letting you go, or even for letting you know they were afraid if they didn't let you go. When you're ready, take 3 deep breaths and slowly make your way back here to our meeting. Good. Thank you everyone for participating. I'm just going to check and see if everyone is back. So can I get you to use the emojis on the react button? How many of you decided to stay on the path with your on the base of the path with your parts? If I can get you to react with the thumbs up emoji. How many of you were actually able to walk down the path? And if you were able to explore the path, if you can react with the red balloon emoji. Okay, thank you everyone. So as we move on with the presentation, I will, do my best to explain a little bit more about parts and self. And this is not a very formal session. So if anyone has questions, I'm really very okay if you would like to ask questions. But if it's taking a little bit too long for me to explain, then I may ask us to park it to the back. Yeah. Just feel free to raise your hand or put something in the chat and I will try my best to address it as we go along. Okay, so Joy, can I get your help to move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. And the next one, what is internal family system? Internal family systems is a therapeutic approach that was designed by Dr. Richard Schwartz. He started out as a family therapist and then moved into individual work. And what he realized is that within all of us, we have our own system of different parts, our own little internal family system. Parts are basically our trauma responses, our learned responses, ways that maybe coping mechanisms, ways we have learned to cope with life. And the interesting thing about our parts is that they all have good intentions for us. However, they all tend to only have a one-track mind. So they don't quite understand the full entirety of our purpose. They have one job and they do that one job really well. And it could be that for a period of time, this has served you very well. But after you've grown older, you've evolved, your relationships have changed, these parts are still coming in, working the same way they always have. And then you start realizing, this isn't so helpful for me anymore. So what are some examples of parts? In internal family systems, we classify parts into three categories. So we have managers. Managers are a little bit more they do executive functioning. They help us plan. They're very preemptive. They want to prevent harm. So anxiety is considered a manager part because it's thinking of worst case scenarios, planning for the future, worrying about our safety. So things like that tend to be done by manager part. Firefighters are parts that come in after we feel overwhelmed. Once we have already experienced the pain or the deep sadness, the grief, the discomfort, then firefighter parts may come in to help us avoid, to soothe ourselves, to distract ourselves, or to escape. So things like being a workaholic, using substances, right, or alcohol, binge eating, overeating, being shopping, right? Spending when you are stressed. All of these are firefighter parts, right? And these come in after the pain has hit our system. The last part is called exiles. Another way to understand exile can be inner child, right? Depending on how you want to frame it. Exiles don't make us do anything. They are just the part that is carrying the pain, the experience, and the trauma. So a lot of times when we experience a trigger, it is the exile that is being triggered. And because the exile is being triggered, either the manager or the firefighter will come in to try and protect the system or try and stabilize the system. So why do I have self right in the middle there? So the founder of IFS believes that self is pure and true energy. We all have self energy, but what happens is that over time, our parts start to obscure the self. That's why we find it difficult to do what our values want us to do, what we want to do, and we end up responding through our trauma responses or our trigger responses that the parts are causing us to do instead, right? So I'll get Joy to move over to the next slide and just slowly click through them. So this analogy of the sun and the clouds is an analogy we use a lot in IFS. The sun is the self and the clouds are the parts. And we are trying to move away the clouds. We're trying to part the clouds so that we can see and reconnect with our true self. Right? We're trying to bring the parts into alignment and understanding so that we can be self-directed, and the self can tell the part, this is how we are going to solve this problem. This is how we are going to work together. Okay, next slide, please. So let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety is usually considered a manager part. Anxiety is a protective part. Most of the time when I have conversations with my anxious part or my client's anxious part, the anxiety is always saying that I was here, since you were how old, to protect you, to help you think about the future, to make sure that you're behaving in a way that other people like you, to make sure you don't get harmed, right? So anxiety is a protective part. And depending on how long that anxious part has been there, or how difficult the challenges you had to overcome were, and your anxiety can be quite at a normal range, or it can be a very fierce kind of protector, depending on your life experiences and how long it's been there. Anxiety as a manager is very preemptive. It's always like 3 to 10 steps ahead of you, worrying about what's to come. Whereas the self is more steady, and the self will be like, okay, I know what's here, and I can try to survey my options and make a decision. But anxiety as a protector is coming in many, many steps ahead. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? That happened the last time. This person gave us that advice, right? Very preemptive. And the reason why our anxious parts can come in really strongly, and the reason why it can be so difficult to negotiate with them, is because they have had a lot of previous success, right? I'm sure we can all bring to mind examples of when our anxiety actually served us well, when the anxiety prevented harm from happening, or the anxiety allowed us to seek the right guidance or do the right thing, make the best decision for ourselves. So it's not that anxiety is bad, right? It's that it has a lot of previous success. So sometimes when we speak to our anxious parts, it can feel like, wow, why is it so stubborn? Why is it doesn't want to budge or listen to me? It's because it's been there for a long time. It's been protecting you for a long time, and it's had a lot of success in preventing harm from happening to you. Let's move on to the next slide. So another facet of internal family systems that I like is that it's a little bit counterintuitive. A lot of times when we talk about challenging parts of ourselves like anxiety, we always talk about it as if it is something we need to get rid of or it's something that is not good, right? And when we talk about anxiety, we always talk about how can I manage it, right? Or maybe even with the use of medications. I'm not against medications at all, right? But for people who really struggle with very severe anxiety, sometimes the medication is really needed to have a normal life. But what the medication is also doing is suppressing the anxiety. So that is our normal way so far of working with anxiety. How do we manage? How do we suppress? How do we push it far away? But what internal family systems is saying that the right way to work with our challenging parts like anxiety is to see that they are not a bad part. They have good intention. We cannot eliminate them. It is impossible to eliminate any part of ourselves. But what we can do is befriend them, get to know them, and learn to work in flow with them rather than against them. And you will also notice later in our practice together that when we start to acknowledge and validate the challenging parts of ourselves, they will actually not be so aggressive. They will relax and calm down as well because they notice that we are not fighting against them, that we are not trying to push them away. Right? So I'm hoping that this is something you will be able to experience in the next section of our work together. Right, we can move on to the next slide. So I'm going to now take you through a guided inner monologue to talk to your own anxious part, right? If it's helpful for you, you can also have a pen and paper to write down what your anxiety is saying to you, but it's totally fine if you feel like you can just remember it, feel free to do that too. So once again, I'm going to invite you to settle into your chair, put your feet on the ground, feeling really grounded and centered. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and turn inwards. I want you to look around with your eyes closed, like look around inside and notice if you can find anxiety anywhere. Maybe anxiety is somewhere in your body. A lot of us feel anxiety in our upper chest area, sometimes in our shoulders. Or maybe you feel like your anxiety is close by but outside of your body, and that is perfectly normal as well. Once you notice your anxiety, take a moment, sit with it, and notice, how does this part feel? Is there a sensation, a weight, maybe something visual about it? Any texture, form, or shape? And I want you to ask this part of you, how old are you? How long have you been here with me? What was happening in my life when you first showed up? Sometimes our part will talk to us and we can hear it in words. Sometimes it's a felt sense. It's like a gut instinct kind of response and reaction. If you're not getting answers, you can also ask the part to show you instead of tell you. Sometimes they connect with us through visual form. And ask your anxious part, what is its intention for you? Why is it working so hard for you? What is your anxious part trying to protect you from? And is there anything else that your anxious part needs you to know? When you're ready, take a moment to thank your anxious part for showing up. And let this part know we will be back very soon to chat with it again. Then very slowly, take your time and meet me back here in this meeting room. Maybe we can take a little break here and get everyone to maybe type in the chat box. Did you manage to meet your anxious part? And was there anything your anxious part told you that was maybe interesting or surprising or new to you? Feel free to drop it in the chat and we can all read and encourage each other. Something I realized when I first started doing this work was that my anxious part had been around since I was 8 years old. And I think it's very concerned that people wouldn't like me. So that was what my anxious part was trying to help me with. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing in the chat, everyone. Right. Very young part. Disappointment and rejection. Yeah, thank you for those who shared. Sometimes even just being seen and acknowledged, even if our parts don't say anything to us, it's still still a powerful practice. Because I think for a lot of us, the pain is that people don't see, acknowledge, and accept these difficult parts of ourselves. So when we are able to notice, witness, and be with our anxious part, it does a lot for the part to know that I've been seen, and the person, has witnessed and knows that I'm here. Lovely. There's more in the chat. I'm glad that some of you could feel the connection to the part. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide. So now we're going to learn how to be in self as we extend compassion and understanding towards the anxious part of ourselves. So in the next slides, I'll share with you what it means. What does self mean? So the founder of IFS has sort of defined self as 8 C's and 5 P's, right? So my clients always ask me, so Sheila, if everything is a part, how do I know that I am in self, right? And you are in self when you are experiencing a combination of these qualities: calmness, connectedness, compassion, curiosity, courage, confidence, clarity, creativity, right? And then the 5 P's on the next slide: presence, persistence, perspective, patience, playfulness, right? So if you're noticing the 8 C's and the 5 P's, it means that you are in self, or at least connected to yourself. It means that if you remember the image of the sun and the cloud, the parts are not obscuring you to a point that you are not connected to yourself, right? So anytime that you're feeling the qualities of the 5 C's, the 8 C's and the 5 P's, you are in touch with self, and you are in touch with self energy. So thank you, Joy. In the next section, we are going to have a dialogue with anxiety from the point of self, extending compassion towards anxiety, right? Because when we are in self, that is when we can feel and channel compassion. So again, I invite you to sit into your chair and take a deep breath. Close your eyes and turn inward. Bring to mind the qualities of self: calmness, connectedness, compassion, curiosity. Just see if you can connect with any of these. And if you notice anxiety again, just ask yourself, how do I feel towards the anxiety? Do I feel curious? Do I feel calm? Do I feel connected? Do I feel present or patient? If you're noticing anything like dislike or annoyance or anger or anything like that, anything that is not the 8 C's and the 5 P's, it means that there is a part between self and anxiety. So if you notice that there's something there that is a part, I want you to gently ask this part if it can give you a little bit of space to spend time with anxiety. And this part, whether it's annoyance or fear or dislike, it doesn't have to go away or disappear. We just want a little bit of space with anxiety. And this part can remain in the room and watch what happens. And after you've done that, check in again. How are you feeling towards anxiety now? Are you feeling calm, connected, curious? If you are, continue with this exercise. If not, go back to the previous step and ask that part to give you some space. When you're able to converse with anxiety, I would like you to first extend validation. Anxiety, I notice that you're worried about blank. Just extend that validation to anxiety. Next, I want you to extend gratitude to anxiety. Thank you, anxiety, for keeping me safe by blank. Fill in the blank. And last but not least, extending care and connection to anxiety. I understand that you're concerned, and I am here with you. Just be there with anxiety and notice how anxiety is responding to you, to self. Spend a moment there. Thank your anxiety for showing up. Take your time and okay, I think more or less everyone is back. In the interest of time, I'm going to just take us through one more visualization. I had two planned, but we'll just do one. I'm happy to send a link or the script of the other one that we won't be able to do separately to anyone who's interested, right? Just want to walk you through a healing light visualization, which you can also do for yourself in moments of anxiety, right? So one way you can approach anxiety is to connect with self and dialogue with anxiety, as we have done today. The other way is to let anxiety know that, is to visualize a healing light shining onto the anxious part of yourself and letting that part have the attention and connection that it needs. So the way to do this is to just be in a seated or even lying down comfortable position. And you can close your eyes and get into a relaxed inner focus state. Notice your anxiety and notice your breath. And just imagine a warm, radiant light, like a golden light or white light that is swirling above your head. And as you inhale, visualize the light entering your body, streaming up from your belly and into the space at which you're noticing the challenging part of yourself. it would work with any part, right? But today we're noticing anxiety. So you can notice the light streaming into the part of you where anxiety is. And as you exhale, envision the breath and the light sliding down your spine and leaving your body. And you can do this as many times as you need. And you can also send the light, the healing light, to different areas of your body that need attention. Maybe where you're feeling pain, or even physical tension, or emotional discomfort. And if you are in a state of needing to feel emotional regulation, you can also imagine the light shining on your entire body. And just notice how your anxiety is responding to this healing light, and whether it's becoming easier to sit with anxiety as it is getting this attention from the healing light. And when you're ready and you feel this exercise is good and complete, my recommendation is to just do a quick stretch. You stretch your arms at the top or by the side, you can rotate your shoulders, and just come back and connect with the present moment. Yeah, and that is all I have for our time today. But we wanted to definitely have a moment for all of us to reflect and integrate, you know. So if anyone would be interested to share with us any reflections you have or any new learnings you have, or how you might want to continue moving forward working with your anxiety, we would love to hear from you. Or if anyone has any questions about internal family systems and parts work, I would be very happy to answer those questions as well.
Maybe I can go. So I pretty much like notice a part of me that like it's a bit like want to shut down like that. But I'm not sure whether because I not enough sleep or what. But now when I speaking it's got a lot of energy. But when I close my eye, like I there's a part of me that okay, just want to shut down in a way lah. But I'm still aware of when you are speaking. So I don't know which part is that.
Yes, that's a really good observation. Sometimes
Mm,
we parts that are protective parts, right, can also be parts like tiredness, dissociation, numbness, right, can also be protective parts. So if we are not used to maybe being so directly noticing the difficult parts of ourselves, these other protective parts may come in to be like, oh, Calvin, are you sure you're ready? Are you sure that we can look at this part and not go into overwhelm, right? So it could be that these parts are coming in to say, to distract you a little bit or make you tired, right? And I notice this is very, very common. I notice this with clients, especially when we're processing difficult emotions. So we need to stay with this part and tell this part, like, okay, I know that, you maybe you're concerned. You don't want me to look at the anxiety, right? So just don't worry, give me some space. You can step aside. If there's any overwhelm, you can come back in to take care of me. But I believe I can handle this, right? So it's also building trust with these parts of ourselves. So thank you, Kelvin, for sharing. It's a very common thing that happens. And I'm glad that you were aware enough to notice and name that part.
yeah, thanks. So by right, if let's say I'm able to go to my anxiety part, probably I would feel more nervous or
Yes,
anxious. Yeah, by
correct,
right.
correct. So
Okay.
if maybe, it's really very strong, right? The anxiety is very strong.
Mm.
So these other parts are like, wow, are you sure you want to do this? Yeah. So
Okay.
sometimes IFS is also a practice of doing it regularly enough that we build trust in our internal system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hi, I would like to ask a question which is like, I'm building on what you shared. Thank you so much. The thing is, what happens if you notice you have very, very strong emotions, and then all this self-talk is just, okay, no, it's like it's really coming out of you. And yes, there will be moments where you may forget to do this thing, like talking to yourself so gently, so patiently. How then can we anchor? Is there, like, we don't always have your voice to hold us, but how are some ways you will remind yourself to anchor if it's like too strong, or if you notice your mind is going too fast? Yeah. So
Yeah.
just a thought that comes up. Yeah.
Sure, that's a great question, Chin. Um, I usually advise my clients that if you feel like there is an emotional overwhelm, or almost like the emotional part of your brain is kind of like hijacking you, right? Then a good thing to do would be to focus on your physical senses. So in those situations, it wouldn't be the best time to journal or do something that is like needs your mind to be very active and involved, because your mind is like being hijacked by emotions. So the most powerful grounding tool we have is our body. So you just do things that are soothing for your physical body. Like you can rub your shoulders, or you can do light tapping. You can bring a calm place to mind and do some tapping. Or the my favorite one, whether for kids or adults, is five senses grounding. Five things I can see, four things I can touch, three things I can hear, right? Smell and taste. Just go back to your five senses when you are overwhelmed. Yeah. Maybe we have time for one more reflection or question.
Hi. Thank you for sharing IFS with us. And I noticed when I was in the meditation, there were a lot of different voices that came up when I tried to reach out to anxiety. Um, I can't remember what these parts were saying lah, but it does feel like it's a distraction when I was trying to reach out to anxiety, and I noticed my mind went into a fog. Um, yeah, so I was wondering, um, yeah, how do I work with that?
Yeah. So if you notice that there's really a lot going on, it might be good to maybe practice with somebody who can guide you for the time being until you can learn how to just practice that muscle of asking your part to give you space. Sometimes I would also ask parts if, hey, do you want to go and rest in this room? I will talk to you all one by one, right? So there's also other visualization techniques we can use, but it's very good that you're also noticing that these are other parts that might be getting in the way. Yeah. So sometimes it helps to draw. I have clients who draw out all the different parts they see as a visual aid to kind of slowly like talk to them one by one. Mhm. Okay, Joy, I know we're right at 11. I'll hand the time back to you.
Yes, really grateful, Sheila. I learned a lot today too, and I hope that everyone benefited from this session. Especially during the healing light meditation, I could feel aches in my body, which I didn't previously notice. So thank you so much for this session. I'm really grateful. Gained a lot of new insights. And can I invite all of you to just scan this feedback form to let us learn about how we can do better or what you'd like to find out in our next few well-being sessions? Like, what do you prefer to have for our themes? And feel free to connect with Sheila. She can be connected through her website as well as Instagram.
I have a free printable image of the qualities of self. If anyone is interested to get that, like the digital image for that, you can drop me a DM on my Instagram. I'll be very happy to send it to you.
And with that, I'm really grateful for your time. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with me. And I hope that you'll join us for our next few wellbeing sessions as well. We'll be hosting weekly sessions. So looking forward to see everyone. And we are all in this journey together. So know that you are not alone and feel free to reach out whenever you need.
Thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for the love. Very grateful for everyone.
Thank you.
Remember to hydrate more too. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
If anyone would like the recording, feel free to reach out to me. I can send it to you. Okay, and with that, I'll end my session here. I thank you for your time with me today. Very grateful for everyone and wishing you a wonderful weekend. Bye. I'll see you the next session.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Much. Bye-bye.